As the night deepens, a subtle tension lingers in the air, an almost electric sense that something extraordinary and perhaps inexplicable is unfolding beneath the surface. Tonight's story is not about a simple company. It is about D-Wave Quantum, a firm that straddles the border between the United States and Canada and between scientific promise and financial enigma. D-Wave is the world's first company to commercialize quantum annealing, a specialized form of quantum computing. Its machines are already solving optimization problems once thought unsolvable by classical computers. Yet, despite these triumphs, there remains a question that defies simple logic. Why does the world's first quantum computing pioneer still struggle to make a profit? The story begins in 1999 in Burnaby, British Columbia, a quiet suburb near Vancouver. There, a small team of physicists dared to challenge the limits of conventional computing. While the global research community focused on the gate model, a universal approach to quantum computing where quantum bits, qubits, can execute any logic gate operation, D-Wave's founders took an entirely different path. They chose quantum annealing, a technique focused not on universality but on specialization, solving complex optimization problems by finding the lowest energy state among countless possibilities. In essence, while others were building the quantum brain, D-Wave sought to build the quantum problem solver. It was an engineering philosophy rooted in pragmatism. Don't wait for the future. Bring quantum value into the present. This unconventional approach would later become D-Wave's identity and, paradoxically, its greatest source of both innovation and controversy. By 2020, D-Wave unveiled the Advantage system, featuring more than 5,000 qubits arranged in an intricate topology known as Pegasus. This system was capable of representing and optimizing massive real-world data sets, logistics networks, supply chains, portfolio allocations, and even molecular interactions. The company proudly claimed that problems taking classical supercomputers days to solve could be handled by Advantage in seconds. Complementing the hardware, D-Wave released Ocean, a suite of open-source developer tools, and Leap, a cloud-based quantum service allowing global researchers and enterprises to access its machines remotely. For the first time, quantum computing seemed commercially tangible. Investors saw in D-Wave not just a lab experiment, but a bridge between theory and enterprise. Then came May 2025, a defining moment. D-Wave announced Advantage 2, the culmination of years of hardware evolution. The new system housed over 4,400 qubits, supported by Zephyr, a 20-way interconnect topology that exponentially expanded the network of qubit interactions. Its coherence time, the period during which qubits maintain their delicate quantum states, had doubled. Noise was reduced by 75%, and energy efficiency improved by 40%. To engineers, it was a triumph of quantum physics and cryogenic precision. To the company, it was proof that their approach, once dismissed as too narrow, was now leading the quantum race. The CEO declared confidently, open quote, "We have transcended the limits of classical computing," close quote. But this was also the point where the narrative took an unexpected turn. Despite achieving what many considered a technological miracle, D-Wave's financials remained stubbornly disconnected from its scientific progress. As of 2025, the company's market capitalization hovered near $10 billion. Yet, over the prior 12 months, D-Wave generated only $22 million in revenue, while reporting net losses exceeding $280 million. The numbers painted a paradox. How could a company pioneering an entirely new computing paradigm with paying customers and proven technology remain so far from profitability? This was the first great mystery. Ordinarily, when a technology firm launches a breakthrough product and begins securing institutional partnerships, a clear trajectory follows. Revenues grow quarter over quarter, losses shrink, and investors see a path to operational stability. But D-Wave Quantum defied that logic. Its revenues fluctuated unpredictably, sometimes surging on large system sales, only to collapse the following quarter. The company's cost structure, especially in R&D and cryogenic hardware manufacturing, remained enormous. Analysts began calling this volatility lumpiness, a polite term for an unsteady business model. In truth, it was a symptom of a deeper structural challenge. D-Wave was selling the future before the market was ready to buy it. Then, in February 2025, came a quarterly report that only deepened the mystery. Revenue and gross profit had increased by more than 40% year over year, but losses remained massive, about $160 million. A closer reading revealed that most of these losses were non-cash, driven by warrant revaluation, an accounting adjustment tied to the changing fair value of derivative financial instruments. In simpler terms, paper losses were overshadowing the company's actual business performance. This was far from normal. In most corporations, profit and loss are dictated by the simple arithmetic of revenue minus expenses. In D-Wave's case, however, valuation shifts in complex financial instruments were steering the reported results. This made it nearly impossible for investors to discern the company's true operational health. The accounting opacity was, in itself, another quantum-like paradox, where the numbers existed in a kind of financial superposition, simultaneously real and unreal. Adding to this complexity was D-Wave's peculiar revenue composition. Although its Leap and Hybrid solver service offered recurring subscription income, the bulk of revenue still came from on-premises system sales, rare, multi-million-dollar hardware contracts. When a system was sold, revenue spiked dramatically. When no sale occurred, it plunged. This erratic pattern contrasted sharply with the predictable, steadily compounding growth curves typical of software-as-a-service businesses. To investors accustomed to linearity, D-Wave's financial graph looked like a staircase built on turbulence. Each rise offered hope. Each fall rekindled doubt. The implication was unmistakable. The company had not yet transitioned from transactional revenue to recurring revenue, a crucial step for sustainable profitability. In August 2025, D-Wave announced a new €10 million contract with Quantum Technology SA in Switzerland, following its earlier deployment at Jülich Supercomputing Center in Germany. These partnerships demonstrated real institutional trust. European governments and research centers were not just testing D-Wave systems, they were adopting them, and yet total revenue remained modest. Normally, a series of such high-profile contracts would catalyze exponential growth. The fact that it didn't suggested that many of these deals were still pilot programs rather than full-scale commercial rollouts. In other words, clients believed in the potential, but not yet in the product's maturity. At its core, D-Wave Quantum's true mystery lies in this mismatch, the divergence between the pace of technology and the pace of trust. Quantum annealing has already transcended classical computational limits, but the market's willingness to assign tangible monetary value lags behind. This temporal gap, the trust deficit, defines D-Wave's paradoxical position as both a pioneer and a prisoner of its own innovation. For investors, it raises the question, how long can a company lead scientifically yet trail financially? 3 unresolved questions define D-Wave's future. First, can the depth of annealing technology eventually compete with the breadth of the gate model approach, or will it remain a niche? Second, when will non-cash accounting distortions give way to authentic recurring cash flow? And third, can D-Wave flatten its lumpy sales curve into a steady, predictable growth trajectory? Today, D-Wave Quantum stands at a crossroads where the curve of physics meets the line of finance. When quantum coherence, the physical stability of qubits, finally aligns with the financial coherence of cash flow, this mystery will at last be solved. Until that day, what truly matters is not press headlines or speculative hype, but renewals, contracts, and the direction of real cash. Because when the numbers finally start speaking for themselves, the truth of D-Wave Quantum's story will emerge, whether this was merely a brilliant illusion or the first dawn of quantum profitability. Before we close, a quick note to our viewers. ValueStir welcomes your insights and suggestions on any stocks or cryptocurrencies, public, private, or pre-IPO, that you believe deserve deeper investigation. Your comments and tips often lead us to our next big story, so don't hesitate to leave them below. And to everyone who watches, subscribes, likes, comments, and shares our videos, thank you. Your engagement is the energy that keeps this channel alive. We'll continue to bring you even more in-depth, evidence-based financial storytelling. This was ValueStir.